Really excited for our next guest here on the Cougar Preview Show, Chris Level. He runs the Tech Sidelines, does a fantastic job on the broadcast. I know he hosts the Coaches Show and does so much more for Texas Tech. Thanks for joining us again, Chris. Really means a lot. First and foremost, how was it to get that extension there for Joey McGuire so you can continue on with that level of coach?
Well, it's both of these coaches started the week pretty underpaid compared to their contemporaries, and now not so much, right? But yeah, no, Kalani got taken care of, Joey got taken care of, and rightfully so. This is what happens when you win and win big. But yeah, there's never really any doubt about Joey getting an extension. I think it was just a matter of when it would be announced. You know, what was it going to look like? I think he actually took a little bit less money to make sure that his staff would be taken care of and making sure that he can still take care of players. And so, you know, I think there's some bonuses in there. But yeah, I mean, this is I think he had kept saying to people, man, they're going to bury me here. Well, you know, coaches have said that around the country, and there's some people around here that didn't believe it. But he's like, I told you, you know, I mean, I'm not going anywhere. They're going to have to run me out of here. So anyway, good stuff. A lot going on, man. You got signing day, you got these coaches getting taken care of, and there's a big game going on.
Oh, my gosh, it is so much going on. And it's been crazy here in Salt Lake City and in Provo with Kalani Sitake and his extension. Just curious, are Joey McGuire's numbers private, or is that a public? Is that going to be a public number so we can see it?
No, it will be public. He's gonna. It's a 7-year deal. He'll average around $7 million a year. I think there's some easily attainable bonuses depending on how well you do and some things like that. They can grow that quite a bit. And I don't know the quite a bit part. I don't know if that's, you know, where it can get easily to $8 million or $9 million or anything like that. But I mean, I think that it'll on average be about $7 million a year. And because that's the thing, he wanted to ensure, you know, hey man, I want to do life with certain people, and my coordinators and my staff and my general manager, and these are the people that I want to be in the foxhole with. So I want to make sure that, you know, if I'm going to do something like this and keep going here, that we can keep the band together. And I think that was a big part of the way his contract was structured.
I've known Kalani. We played together at BYU going all the way back to 97. So we've known each other a lot of years, and just a great guy. He is what, you know, everybody sees him to be. Is Joey McGuire the same? Is he the good old boy that he comes across? I was watching him in that presser with Kalani Sitake and the commissioner of the Big 12, Brett Yormark. He just seems like he's a good old boy.
These two head coaches are very, very similar. They are culture people. They are developmental guys. They are energy guys. I think their teams play hard for them. They want good defense. They want to be able to run the ball. I mean, and so there's a lot of similarities. And these two guys know each other very well. But, yes, what you see with Joey in that press conference is the same thing you're going to get on a Tuesday morning, afternoon, regardless of whether you won or lost. He's just a good human. And he's just one of those people that when you're around him, you feel better about yourself, you know, kind of thing. He just is he didn't really ever turn it off. I always wonder, you know, he's been here for 4 years, and I always wonder, man, how can he keep this up, this energy level? Just he's everywhere. And so far, he's been able to. So, but he's good people and one of those guys that's very easy to root for.
I think Tech is in a really interesting situation right now, Chris. I mean, I'm just looking back and really hasn't played a competitive game since that BYU game, and I was part of the call on that game, and it wasn't overly competitive, obviously, the way Tech jumped out to such a great lead. But following that, just a 48-9 whipping to UCF. Then you get a bye week 2 weeks ago, and then you're done by halftime against West Virginia. Do you think this hurts, or does it help Texas Tech? With the bye week, the whooping, playing only a half against West Virginia, is this helpful, or do you think it could be distracting to them?
Well, I'm going to say this, and it's not. I'm not trying to be snarky or anything, but they really haven't been in a competitive game since the Arizona State game. Yeah. I do think the BYU game was competitive. That's the closest one to that, but they've beaten everybody by 20 plus. No one was expecting this around here, and I keep waiting for the rug to get pulled out. I keep waiting for the letdown. I keep waiting for, you to kind of show yourself to be, fraudulent in some way, and it just hasn't happened. This is a very old, mature team, and I think Joey was even saying that before the West Virginia game kicked off, because they knew on Friday night, hey, you're in Morgantown, it's really cold. Okay, is this when the letdown is going to happen? And then they just come out and you just lean on West Virginia and just start pulling guys out of the game second half because you had put it to bed. So I don't know. I don't think so. I think that's a fair question. I don't think so. I think this was the stated goal, was to not just get to Arlington, but win in Arlington. And again, this is uncharted territory for these guys around here and for this program. I've been doing the radio stuff for 20-something years, and there was times where I just thought, you're never going to get there. You're never going to be able to win it's just too hard. And the league has changed multiple times, but they will definitely, be ready. And I know they're expecting BYU's best. And the two best teams in this league are going to tee it up and get after it. And I'm sure you guys saw that, but should be a record-setting crowd at this game, which is really impressive. I think you're going to potentially eclipse 90,000 people in this thing.
Whew. Couldn't even fill half the stadium last year with Iowa State and Arizona State. This is crazy.
Well,
How many? What percentage is going to be Tech fans?
Well, I know some. I mean, I think first of all, the largest alumni base for Texas Tech lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So, and I think the thinking here is that if you win on Saturday, if you're Texas Tech, you're going to get another game at AT&T Stadium in a quarterfinal game in the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Eve. So that's also kind of a carrot that they've dangled out there to these guys. But I mean, I don't know. I knew Tech fans were buying tickets up, a month ago with or maybe even previous before that, but they bought every suite that was available. They got the people's number at the Cowboys and just started throwing money at all the suites, because there's 7 different levels of the stadium. So I don't know if it'll be 60-40, 70-30. I have no way of knowing it, but there'll be a lot of Tech. But again, Texas Tech is also working on their silent count and their cadences, because they know that BYU will have plenty of people there too. And that roof will be closed, so it'll be loud in there.
Well, Chris, Jacob Rodriguez has impressed me so much, and I watched quite a bit of film before I stepped in and called the color for that BYU Tech game, and he showed up even beyond what I had imagined, where he recovered a fumble, he pulled down an interception, had constant pressures, ended up with 14 tackles, had 2 TFLs, and was an absolute nightmare for BYU. What makes him so good? Did you know he was going to have this level of season where we're talking about him being in New York for the Heisman ceremonies?
Probably not at this level. I think I would have told you he was one of Texas Tech's best players before the season started, but not, I mean, and I think what has made him so good is that he's got really good people in front of him. So he sees it all. He's got a clear picture in front of him. But what makes him so good is just his instincts, his football IQ. I mean, it's off the chart. He's just he's like a ball magnet, just always seems to be in the right place. He learned, I had him on Joey's coach's show about a month ago, and I'm like, this punch thing that you're doing, like, where did you, like, you were doing this in high school, right? He's like, no, sir, I learned that here. And I'm just, that part is just fascinating to me, that because it's just a way of life for some of these players now. It's just, we see it all the time. He just happens to be there at it the most. And the timing on it is just incredible. And you can talk about it, you can train for it, you can tell your guys to protect the ball. And he just has this way of rolling up from behind, and you just see it coming, and out the ball comes. And he's done it 7 times this year. But it's his instinct. The answer to your question is his instinct. It's just his IQ and knowing where to be, the angles. He's a very good athlete. He's going to get drafted. He's going to play in the NFL. But there's just some things that you can't coach that make him very special. And he's a peach of a human being too. And that's what very, very easy guy to root for. And the story is widely known as his wife and being in the Army and all that stuff. And his wife's sister flies jets for the Air Force. she flies helicopters for the Army. I mean, so Jacob's got a heck of a set of in-laws, man, that raised a couple of humans that are in the military and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a fun story.
Well, the one loss that Texas Tech has on the docket was that Arizona State game. I watched offensively what they did, a lot of pop passes, and I felt like Sam Levitt still held them all accountable with his ability to run. But one thing Tech was missing in that loss was Baron Morton. And the games that Baron Morton's been a part of, Tech has not struggled. They've put up numbers offensively. What does Morton mean to this offense? And what have you kind of assessed and evaluated of Baron Morton that makes him so good?
Yeah, and he's played with a broken bone in his leg since game one. He's been managing this injury since the first of the season. And I think the bye week a week ago really helped him. Not having to play in the second half last week helped him. But he's the face of this program. There's all kinds of, star power and playmakers on this. He's the leader. He's the guy that stirs the drink. He's not been perfect, but he gives this team an edge, I think. I think that he's the homegrown guy, and there's something to be said about that in this day and age where people are moving around and transferring in and out and all that stuff. I mean, he grew up wearing a Graham Harrell jersey. And coming to football games here in the mid 2000s when Graham Harrell and Michael Crabtree were doing their thing here, and he's seen it through. And it has been a rocky road, let me tell you, just for him personally, because he's battled through so many injuries. But Barron's got all the arm angles. He can make every throw on the field. It's just been his mobility was a bit of a problem, especially when you guys saw him. I think he feels a lot better, and he's a lot healthier since he played BYU a month ago. But it's just that there's something about him. He's got all the arm talent, but it's just I think he gives them a mental edge, and I think people look to him. He's a natural leader.
Do you think that Texas Tech has sustainability? Just what they're doing, the amount of money that they've now come into, especially with this primary booster. But is this set up for long-term success for Texas Tech?
Well, and much like BYU situation, there's a lot of crumble cookie talk out there. There's a lot of different people that are, I think, helping BYU. It's not just Cody Campbell here. He's the one that gets a lot of the credit. There's about 5 to 7, billionaire type people that are been done very well, and mostly in the oil and gas industry. But this is something that this isn't a one-year thing. There wasn't a let's push all the chips to the table and then let's give it a go and just see what happens and then we'll walk away. No, this is methodical. There's a plan here. I think that they would tell you that they hope that this is the first year of a run that they can kind of go on here where they can be relevant and contend for a conference championship every year. The money gets talked about a lot here, but what it doesn't get talked about near enough, and I think the same should be said about BYU, is the development, but also the culture with these programs. That is everything to Joey McGuire. I don't care how talented you are, recruit-wise or portal-wise. If you've got something going on and you're not a good fit here, he's not going to take you. And the culture is everything, and I think Joey's a master at it, just like I think Kalani probably is as well. But it's everybody talks about the portal guys, but we're sitting here talking about Jacob Rodriguez, and we're talking about Baron Morton. These are guys that have been in this program for 3 or 4 years, and I think those are the pieces that that have been really vital to what you're doing. But this is sustainable, and they're going to keep swinging away at it. And I think these two programs that are playing Saturday morning are starting to maybe separate a little bit from the way it needs to work, and not just in football either, basketball and just department wide. I think these folks kind of have their ducks in a row, and there's some alignment at both places, and there's resources, and they're willing to use them.
Chris, last thing, I'm just curious about the two coordinators because they're both in their first seasons, Mac Leftwich and Sheil Wood.
Yep.
When I watched that defensive game plan against BYU, it's just impressive We talked a lot about Jacob Rodriguez, but that front with A.J. Holmes Jr., Lee Hunter, and that Romello Height, who's so good. How good is Shill Wood, and where did he come from? And just kind of give me your thoughts on his game preparation and the schemes that he's put on the table week in and week out.
It's a great question. That was a major question mark about this program coming into the season, is that, okay, you had this talent, you had these expectations, but you also have two brand new coordinators with two new schemes. Like, sometimes that takes a bit, and it really hasn't been a line all this year, to each guy's credit. But Shield is a Willie Fritz guy. That's really, he was at Tulane, then he was at University of Houston last year, and I think we talked about this one of the other times I was on with you guys. But last year was just terrible on offense, but defensively they were top 25 defense in the country, and so it was easy to see why it was a hot name and things like that. And I think when Joey made a move with defensive coordinator, I mean, he really had heard a lot of good things about Coach Wood, and they were able to take care of him. But to Shield's credit, what he has been able to come in and do, people would say, like, I mean, how complex is the scheme going to be? This defense is supposed to be really good. He hasn't tried to overcoach him. He hasn't tried to throw just too much at these guys and try to, like, out scheme anybody, because he doesn't have to. And so sometimes coaches get in the way. They try to, like, your call sheets, there's just way too much going on. Guys get confused. They can't run all this stuff. It's just too complicated. I think he's kind of gotten out of the way and kept it fairly simple, and then kept guys in the right spot. And he just rushes four. They don't blitz a lot. They don't have to. And I think that's kind of been to his credit. But they also adjust. You may get them here and there early in games. I mean, Kansas State did with a couple of QB runs, and then you stop it, and he's able to adjust as the game goes along. It's been very impressive to watch.
Very impressive, and it changes your world when you can rush four and you can get home and you can let backers do their job. It's a game changer. And
it's a different sport.
Yeah, that's the tough thing. Chris, I'll tell you, just on my end of things, just getting ready for this game, and I've been talking about it ever since BYU went final against UCF. BYU's got to find a way to deal a little bit of 5-4 against this Texas Tech front. If they want to get busy offensively, you have to find some 5-on-4, because if you got a four-man front that can rush your quarterback and you have to leave 7 in every single down, every single passing down, it's just not going to work. So I look at it, Chris, and I'm saying I think that the game comes down to David Bailey, Lee Hunter, A.J. Holmes Jr., Romello Height versus Isaiah Jada, Kyle Sforchuk, Bruce Mitchell, Austin Lewisa, Andrew Gentry, and then a mix of one or two rotational guys. I think that's the game, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, it along those lines, it's just BYU is built to run the football. This is what they do. They're one of the best teams in the country at it. If Texas Tech is been shown to be one of the best teams in the country at stopping the run, who wins that matchup? I think Tech won that matchup in the first matchup, and probably forced BYU to maybe drop back and throw it a bit more than they wanted to. But that also the game within the game there. And these lights are going to be bright in this thing, man. This is going to be a big stage. Somebody's going to do something uncharacteristic. You just don't know who that's going to be. And, like, man, I hadn't seen them do that all year. And that goes for both teams. But that's what makes this stuff fun and why sports are unpredictable.
No doubt about it, Chris. That Tech defense held BYU about 120 yards under their season average in rushing. So I think it's a big one. Chris, thanks for your time. Can't wait to see you coming up this weekend.
Yes, sir, man. You guys keep hope alive. Appreciate it, and enjoy the trip down here, and enjoy AT&T Stadium on Saturday. But it should be a lot of fun.
Will do for sure. Thanks. That's Chris Level. He's the Texas Tech sideline man. He's been doing broadcasts in Tech area for a lot of years. He does the coaches show with Joey McGuire, who is just extended. He also works on Tech Locked On, which he does a great job with. So appreciate Chris Level taking some time with us.